Martha Jingles. I live in Canton. For me, it's a non-issue to drive from where I live in Canton here to Cartersville. It's not a long, difficult drive, but it's so worth it. When my friend a few years ago was having a lot of serious medical issues, which her doctors at the time in Atlanta were not solving, and she really needed emergency help more than once, we experienced various difficulties in the larger hospitals in Atlanta. I took her to the emergency rooms there to hopefully be stabilized. One, they were very rude to her, and others, they basically ignored her, and other various problems like that. So about the third time, I told her, I said, get in my car. I said, I'm taking you from Dunwoody here out to where I know you're going to get some help and somebody's going to care. And I brought her at 11 o'clock at night out here to the emergency room at Cartersville. And the first thing that was done after she went through the admission process was Dr. Lee Miles was here at the time. And the first thing she did was hook her up to an IV to hydrate her because her lips were peeling. And she had really serious kidney stones, and she had pain medication in with the IV fluid. And it just was all the difference in the world. And I did have to bring her another time or so to get stabilized. But this was the only place that treated her with compassion and did the things that needed to be done within the parameters of the situation here. And to this day, she has moved out of Atlanta now, up near Chicago, but she has not forgotten the kind of treatment she received here, and will ever be grateful for it. My most recent experience at Cartersville Medical Center was when I had a colonoscopy a few months ago. I experienced the consistency that has been so important that I've found at this hospital. Just every level of staff, from checking in to nursing staff, surgical staff, anyone you can name, was just wonderful, and just helped make it an extremely positive experience. I was having a lot of difficulty, and the physician sent me straight here into the emergency room, and this was my first experience at Cartersville Medical Center. And just from the first person you come in contact with in admissions, the person who takes your vital signs, to the doctors on duty, the nurses, just everybody involved was just absolutely marvelous. Everyone was very caring, very competent at what they did, and made you feel more secure. And the doctor eventually even brought in a couple of more specialists and brought them to my room and introduced them to me during my stay of 5 days. It was just, I was amazed at the quality of the experience all the way through. Person in housekeeping, she came into my room and was cleaning the floors and dusting and things like that. And she started talking to me very kindly and very nicely. And she stated that it was very important to her to clean the patients' rooms very carefully because patients in the hospital are already sick, and she did not want them to become sicker because the environment was not kept sanitary. I was amazed at her attitude, but it just fit right in with everybody else here. I have had blood work here, and various lab tests like that, and found the lab staff to be consistently caring and competent, just like everyone else I had encountered here, very definitely. What I have found at this hospital in both my major experiences plus outpatient experiences and that of a friend of mine as well a few years ago is that the attitude throughout this hospital at all levels has been very conducive to the healing process. Because of my personal experiences with this hospital and with experiences of a friend of mine as well, I would certainly hope that all of the staff at this facility would never compromise this attitude of compassion and of competence, because it makes a huge difference in how well a patient can recover. A couple of final thoughts are that in accord with the attitude that I found at this hospital, that there are many personal touches that you don't receive just anywhere. One example is, after my experience, I received a handwritten personal card from the staff, and it was not just printed off. It was a handwritten note. It was very kind and very caring. And for all of these reasons that I have elaborated, I have to say that I love this hospital. It's kind of strange, I think, for someone to say I love a hospital. But if I had a nickel for everyone I have said I love that hospital in Cartersville, I would be quite wealthy.